For most kits, we pre-cut your cords for you. They're gonna come in a little bag wrapped on a cardboard bobbin. Looks like this. If you're working from your stash, you'll need to cut your own cords. You'll need 8 of them. It will say in the instructions how long to cut your cords. The general rule of thumb is you need 3 times your finished length per warp. If you are making a 24-inch necklace, that's 2 feet. So 2 feet times 3 would be 6 feet or 2 yards per warp. So I've taken my Superlon off of the little cardboard bobbin that it came on, and you can see here that they've been pre-knotted. That's just an overhand knot at the end. So if you don't have a kit, you're just gonna take all 8 cords, make a loop around your fingers, and then bring the tails through. That's an overhand knot. Hold the knot over the hole in the Kumihimo disc. And we're just gonna take the little tails and bring them through just a little bit. And now we're gonna put 1 cord on either side of every dot. If your cords are different colors, then your instructions will say which color goes where, if it matters. I'm just going to straighten this out a little bit. I'm going to give this a tug this way and a little bit down here so that I can get the knot centered more or less over the hole. Now I can string my beads. You're gonna wanna use a big eye needle for this. Working at the end of one of my cords, I'm going to open up the big eye needle and pass the cord through and then bring it down to either end so it locks in place. I'm leaving a pretty short tail, only like 1.5 inches, 2 inches. That's because the point where the needle pinches the thread is going to damage the thread. It's going to fray it there. So I want it way down here at the end where the thread will eventually get cut off. Now I'm stringing beads. Your kit instructions will tell you exactly how many beads to pick up. I usually pick them up in groups of 10 and then slide them down onto my cord. Once I have picked up as many beads as my pattern calls for, I'm going to remove the big eye needle, set that aside, and I'm going to make a slip knot. To make a slip knot, I make a loop around my fingers, take my fingers out of the loop, reach through it, pull the long side. So now I have a short tail and a long tail. I'm gonna pull those in one direction and pull this loop in the other. So now I have a slip knot. I'm gonna open up my weighted bobbin, put this loop around it, pull to tighten, hold the tail in place and start winding. This is just thread. The beads are gonna stay together as a group. There's always going to be more thread than beads. So here are my beads. I want to leave 1 to 2 inches of empty space between the disc and the start of the bead. So I'm just gonna pinch my warp cord here and then keep winding. And then I'm gonna pop the bobbin closed over the beads. This one's ready to go. Now I'm just gonna string up all the rest. Okay, all my beads are strung. Now I can take my clip-on center weight and clip it right below that starting knot. And now I'm ready to get braiding. This braid is called Congo Gumi, and there are only 2 moves. Top right down, bottom left up. From here, we're going to rotate the disc, quarter turn. It doesn't matter which direction you turn it. You can turn it to the left, you can turn it to the right. I tend to turn mine to the left, and then we do our moves again. Top right down, bottom left up. Turn the disc. Top right down. Notice how my cord came from the right and it finishes on the right of these other 2 cords that are already here. So it comes straight down, it doesn't cross side to side. Same thing when I'm doing bottom left up. Bottom left goes straight up, and now it's to the left of the cord that was already there. It's very important that we keep the cords on the correct side of the disc. No crossing side to side. We're only moving up or down. Turn the disc, top right down, bottom left up, turn the disc, top right down, and let's pause right here. I have 3 cords at the bottom. This is what we call a stopping point. I can set this down and walk away from it, and whenever I come back, pick it back up, find the 3 cords, make sure that they're facing me, and I know where I've left off. I just did top right down, and now it's time for bottom left up. Keep braiding without beads until you have between 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch. Okay, that's long enough. When braiding with beads, the moves are exactly the same, but this time, when you bring your cord across, you're going to let one bead go to the center, and it's going to catch under this first cross warp, that perpendicular cord, and then you complete the move, locking it in place. So there's my bead right there. Oh, I'm out of working cord over here. See, there's just a little bit of cord left, not really enough for me to lock it in place when I get to the other side. So I need to open this bobbin, unwind it a little, let the beads drop down, and then wind it back up again. Now I have more room to work. These are size 11 beads at the beginning of my braid. The rest of my beads are size 8, which are bigger. Sometimes a braid starts with smaller beads to help it fit better in a smaller end cap. Here's my first size 8. They drop in exactly the same. There it is. A little bit easier to see since it's bigger. You know that your beads are sitting correctly when you look at the point of braiding and you can see the holes of the beads facing up. That bronze bead, it's really easy to see. See how it's pointing straight up towards the sky? That's what we want. You don't want to see the side of the bead. That means it's not locked correctly.